Octopath Traveler is a grand old time, offering up 8 unique characters with 8 unique stories and abilities. But which one is the best of the bunch? That's where I come in. Utilizing dad science, I will rate each character based on story, path action, and combat abilities. So which of the 8 will shine the brightest? On a side note, please remember that every character in this game is viable, and there is no wrong choice. Especially later on in the game when you find secondary classes, you can use those jobs to either cover for your character's weaknesses or bolster their strengths. So this list is pretty much pointless. Let's dive right in. Tyrion. Tyrion is a thief, a scoundrel looking out for number one. He is confident in his abilities and happens to hear about a legendary treasure that is housed in a heavily guarded mansion. Believing he is King Dick of Thief Mountain, he goes in, absolutely sure he'll make it out with the prize. To his surprise, it was a trap. The master of the mansion and her strangely combat adept butler set the whole thing up, a test of sorts to weed out a competent thief, talented enough to steal back a grip of stones rightfully belonging to the mistress of the mansion. Being a thief, Tyrion can slide his nimble little fingers into almost any NPC's pockets, giving him a variable chance to steal goods, including weapons, armor, and consumables. It's an extremely helpful skill that can net you some goodies without hurting your wallet. But be warned, this action is failable, and fail 5 times, the game will lock you out of using path actions in that specific town. Steal smartly, you filthy criminals. His combat abilities actually reflect Tyrion's roguish nature. Growing up in this life made him distant and selfish, making most of his abilities helpful only to him. His main combat abilities can keep him healthy and fed, stealing items, HP, and even SP. Attack and armor debuffs are also part of his arsenal, and prove particularly useful against bosses. He also wields daggers and swords to complement his abilities, and grows to be fast and evasive. Lots of tricks up his sleeve, indeed. The downside is that his attacks are all single target focused. He doesn't have anything to hit multiple targets, so crowd control is not his forte. Tyrion boasts an intriguing story that will get you interested in seeing what's next. His ability to steal is immediately helpful, and fun to do when you enter new towns. See kids, stealing is fun. His combat debuffs are his true worth in fights, but lack of crowd targeting holds him back. Tyrion gets a 6 out of 10. Hannet. Hannet is a huntress, a beastmaster, using her skills to keep the peace in her forest. Studying under Xanta, a master hunter / gambling addict, she shapes up to be one of the best in the biz. After Xanta quests abroad and eventually goes missing, it is up to Hannet to track his ass down. Also, hope you can stomach some extremely shitty Old English dialogue. I can't. Hannet can provoke fools into fighting with her. That's right, you shit-talk innocent townsfolk into a violent street brawl. But you get XP from it, so it's completely fine. Do not worry, citizens, your suffering makes her stronger. Hannet is skilled at archery and axemanship. Probably not a word. And her skills in combat offer a nice mix of arrow volleys that hit all enemies and high damage single foe attacks. But all of this takes a backseat to her true combat usefulness, her ability to capture monsters and use them in battles. That's right, she turns this game into Pokemon. Captured monsters have limited uses, but offer various skills to take advantage of in a fight. Hannet's story is harmless enough, but the dialogue annoys my face, ears, eyes, and dick. I cannot immerse myself in this story for that very reason. Her provocability isn't particularly cool, but it is a good tool to utilize for leveling up. But where she truly shines is combat, particularly the capture mechanic. It adds a fun new layer to the encounters, completely unique to her. Hannet gets a 6 out of 10. Philia. Philia is a young cleric. Adopted by a family of the church, she was raised in complete devotion to her church and her father and sister. Her sister was to go on a pilgrimage to light sacred flames around the map, but illness strikes their dad, and Philia, being the doll that she is, chooses to go on the pilgrimage in her sister's stead. It's a by-the-numbers, holy walkabout that, honestly, bores the living shit out of me. You can take advantage of people's devotion and lead them somewhere, and for me, that somewhere is battle. Hey, do you believe in God? Come with me, fight and die for me. And they do. Recruits have unique stats and abilities that can truly help in a fight, so shepherd them to your next boss fight. You won't be sorry. Also, don't sleep on old ladies. Old ladies in this game can throw down. Being a cleric, Ophelia shines as a healer, keeping her allies healthy and ready to crack skulls. But her abilities extend into light magic territory as well, so she can go on the offense with both single and multiple enemy targeting spells. You go, girl. She does lack in the physical attack department though, able to only wield a stick for bonking. Her story may bore you to tears, but she proves a worthy party member in both healing friends and hurting foes. This game can get pretty difficult, and having her around can ease the pain, keeping you alive to fight longer, and bringing along a powerful old lady into battle doesn't hurt either. Ophelia gets a 9 out of 10. Cyrus. Cyrus is a scholar with a deep fondness for knowledge and learning. And what better way to kick off his story than with a lecture? Seriously, a lecture. 0 out of 10. Hate it. Hate everything about it. But wait. The second phase of his story becomes a mystery about a missing tome, and Cyrus puts on his detective hat and uses his detective reasoning skills to track down the culprit, ultimately leading to his departure from his esteemed academy and a quest to track down another missing tome. Great save, guys. His path action allows him to acquire knowledge by creepily eyeballing NPCs to glean information. Like stealing, this action is failable because it's rude to stare, I guess. Successful inquiries can lead to certain benefits, like store discounts, hidden items, and easier steal chances. Be careful though, some harder inquiries may net 0 benefits, so save often, damn it. Where to begin with Cyrus? He possesses arcane skills like fire and ice magic that can take out crowds. It's extremely helpful, and he can use his gift of smarts to reveal enemy weaknesses, which is a godsend when you are exploring a new area or whittling down a boss. Kill them all, and Cyrus the Virus. With a deep mana pool and elemental magic, he comes off as infallible. But he has a shortcoming. Like Ophelia, he can only equip a stick. A bonking stick. Cyrus has a potentially fun story, and he's quite likable as a character, especially in his cluelessness with the opposite sex. It's anime as all hell. His path action can lead to neat discoveries, but it isn't essential. Oddly enough, the battlefield is his true home. Analyzing weaknesses and full enemy wiping abilities make him fun to have in your lineup. He is one dude you've got to have in your party. Cyrus gets a 10 out of 10. Tresa. Tresa's story is extremely unique for an RPG. The story of a girl with a dream of becoming a merchant. So cool? When pirates ransack her coastal town, she decides to take matters into her own hands and take back the town's belongings from the salty bastards and give it all back to the rightful owners. With the help of a dashing pirate turned merchant, she soon obtains an adventurer's journal, giving her the final push to travel the world killing stuff. Oh, and becoming a better salesman too, I guess. Being a merchandiser herself, she can bargain with folks to buy belongings straight from them. Keep in mind, these are the same pool of items from which you can steal also. So do as I do. Steal high probability items and buy lower percentage ones. Get it all, if your funds allow it, of course. Tresa offers a nice little variety in the realm of combat. She can use spears and bows for melee combat. Her combat abilities offer elemental combat of the wind variety and an ability to donate BP to another party member, which can prove useful in certain situations. Her most unique ability is a skill called Hired Help, in which you can spend money to hire mercenaries, dancers, and the like to beat up your target. That's dark, Tresa. Tresa's bubbly personality and overall positive outlook may rub you the wrong way, but it comes together nicely with everything else to produce a well-rounded character. If you don't like risk, her path action is straightforward and beneficial. She can hold her own in combat and is the only character who can learn wind magic, giving her a neat tool all her own in fights. Tresa gets a 7 out of 10. Albrecht. If you want a generic story, Albrecht's got you covered. He was a masterful swordsman, a one-man army like Guts, a knight who fought for his master until a betrayal led to his master's death. Albrecht's reason for fighting disappeared. The answer to his question, "Why do I wield my sword?" was, "I don't know." So he shacked up in a cozy mountain village where he trained the townspeople. One kidnapping, bandit fight, and revelation of his past later, and Albrecht's spirit is rekindled. He sets off to learn the truth about what happened to his master's killer and find the answer to his silly sword question. Albrecht can challenge people to a one-on-one duel. It's simple. It fits his character. Sometimes people are obstacles, and you can duel them to move them out of the way or challenge a threat from unsavory individuals. It also gains you XP, so that doesn't hurt anything. A knight excels in combat? You don't say. Albrecht's combat skills are extremely helpful. He's effective with swords and spears, and a bevy of physical abilities that either deal heavy damage to one enemy or damage across all enemies. His high HP, physical attack, and physical defense make him a force of nature, and his buffing skills only serve to make a stronger case for him in combat. Huzzah! Albrecht's story and his character are both predictable and uninspired, which is okay. A simple story isn't the worst thing ever. His challenge ability can overcome certain obstacles, but I deem it mostly unnecessary. But Albrecht is the truth in battle, and his usefulness there makes up for all the blandness in all the other categories. Albrecht gets an 8 out of 10. Primrose. Shit gets real dark in Primrose's tale. Her father is murdered by a gang of 3 men bearing the mark of the crow. She suffers a fall from grace, growing up in a life of servitude, dancing for money, just dormant, waiting for her chance to resume her plot for revenge against the killers. Finally, one of these men roll into town, and much like Eminem, she's got one shot. And she does not waste the opportunity. Revenge mode engaged. Prim has a reputation in town as the hottest, most amazing dancer anyone has ever seen. She uses these finely honed skills to put people in a sexual trance, where they will follow you to the ends of the earth. It's a sexier version of Ophelia's path action, so you can use them in battle as well. Remember, old ladies like Prim's dancing too, and old ladies in this game bring fire and death. Primrose uses a variety of abilities, or dances, to engage in fights, as well as dark magic to toy around with. The dark attacks can target crowds, and her dances can buff up party members, but only one at a time. Another downside is that she can only use daggers, so poking around for weaknesses is not her strong suit. Daggers and darkness. That's it. Her story is an absolute high point, as far as these stories go. Her tale has a darkness completely suitable for her character and her sad state of affairs. Seeing her blossom into more than just a dancer, but a strong-willed, stone-cold angel of vengeance is rewarding in itself. But, even with a strong path action, she is too limited in combat to be a total asset. Love her as a character though, so at least there's that. Primrose gets an 8 out of 10. Alphin. Alphin is just a sweet person, an apothecary in a small town where he studies healing with his buddy. When a giant snake poisons a little girl, he heads into a cave to get the snake's venom for the cure. After saving the day, he realizes that he wants to be the type of healer that travels the world saving people, like the one who saved him in the past. His path action is Inquire, which lets him chit-chat some secrets and info out of people. It's like Cyrus's, but the classier, friendlier version. You'll gain benefits too, like discounts and whatnot. It pays to be a nice kid. Good J, Alphin. Alphin fights apothecary style. His knowledge of healing arts makes him quite useful in fights. He can mix ingredients in battle to create healing potions and hurting potions. His abilities offer some neat tricks, including the ability to poison enemies. And he can cure status ailments too, making him super useful in fights with those status ailment inflicting dickheads. Physically, he only has an axe, so combat usefulness as far as weakening enemies is concerned is severely limited. I can't help but like the kid. You feel his warmth as a person who truly wants to help people, making him someone with a story you care about. His path action has its uses and provides useful benefits, so no problems there. Combat is a love-hate thing with him. Poisoning bad guys and healing status effects is super welcome. but healing friends and hurting foes can be done better by other characters. Alphin gets a 7 out of 10. And that is the ratings, guys. My personal favorite is Cyrus. Please keep in mind that those are my opinions. Please tell me who's your favorite down in the comments. There's no wrong answer. And please help us grow this beast. Please leave a like, comment, please subscribe, help us grow. It'd be super duper helpful. And I have been ShdwDark, your ninja dad, reminding you to follow your dreams. Be that merchant. Get your revenge. Just do it!